swag, it's Daigs swag.
That sounds like Barkley.
Alright, today on Daigs Swag, I'm going to be talking a little bit about my rugby championships. Rugby, it is probably my favorite sport to play. I love the violence. I love how there's no fucking equipment in it. I fucking hate wearing equipment. It's probably the main reason why I never tried out for football, because I just couldn't fucking stand putting on that helmet and all them fucking padding. I'd rather feel the fucking pain of the bodies fucking crunching each other in the sport of rugby. Get me down dirty in them fucking scrums. Put me on the bottom of the pile, top pile. I don't give a fuck. Just give me that full out contact with no fucking equipment. It's also part of the reason for another episode why I played ball hockey outdoors and not the indoor league. I hated the fucking equipment rules. Can't fucking stand it. I loved the sport of rugby. I was fortunate enough to win OFSA with our high school team in 1994. Unfortunately, the biggest piss off for me was being suspended for the actual OFSA. I still went there, I was on the sideline, but anybody who plays sports, any competitive motherfucker knows that there's nothing worse than feeling helpless on the fucking sidelines and not being able to get out there. Especially if you're suspended and fucking healthy. That is the worst. At least if I was hurt, I could say, well, I was fucking hurt. But no, I was suspended because of dumb fucking bullshit. But anyways, the team still went on to do great. I had played every game up until that fucking point. 2011, what year was it? 2011, on October 5th, 2011, my high school team got inducted into the Barrie Sports Hall of Fame. It was a great honor. We went in, I believe Darren Rumble and Jennifer Robinson were inducted at the same time as my high school rugby team. We had Ron Hogarth induct us in. We each got our own little certificates to state that we were inducted. And some of my favorite plays, I guess the one time we played St. Andrews College, and I remember this one guy, I played blindside wing all the time. Anybody familiar with rugby or not familiar with rugby? So basically you have all the big boys that scrum on the side. Then you got your line of your smaller wingers and your fullback. And I was blindside wing, which is the lone winger over on this side of the field, the short side, small side, whatever you want to term it, of the field. And I would flip around whichever side the scrum was, me and the other wingers, we'd flip sides of the field. That's the way our coach did it. And so I would basically have the ball or it'd get kicked to you or whatever, and I was running up the sidelines against St. Andrews College, and I'll never forget it. This one big fuck I had left to beat, and he's running straight at me, and I'm right down the sideline. With my size and speed, like, I should have just fucking sidestepped him for a fucking try all the way down the fucking field, but no. What do I fucking do? I see him lower his head, I just fucking lower my head, and I run right fucking smack dab into him. Fucking knock him on his ass, momentum carries me out of bounds. His forehead's cut open, my eye ends up swelling shut so I can hardly see out of my one fucking eye. It was absolutely phenomenal and great. And in that same fucking game later on, I had the ball kicked to me, I had the dudes running back, and I'm kicking it back to get the out, and fucking doesn't buddy smack into me and fall flat on his fucking ass. Right then, right there, all I heard was the other sideline yelling, "Hit that short fuck! Hit that little fuck!" Because I'm only like 5'7", but I was about $175 in really good fucking shape back then. Now I'm just an old, out of shape fucking mess right now. But 2 plays in the same fucking game, and then me and the dude went up talking, shaking hands after, man. It was just such a great game, and that's what respect's about. You can fucking go out there on the field, knock the shit out of each other, and then go have a fucking drink after. We were minors at the time, so I'm not going to say whether we actually drank or not. But we went out and we enjoyed ourselves after that, talked for a bit before we hopped on the bus with everybody with their ice packs on all the way back up to Barrie, because I believe that college was, St. Andrews College. I don't even think it's an actual college. It's just called St. Andrews College. But I believe it's in the Newmarket or Aurora area, just a little north of Toronto there. And the school I went to for most of my high school was Barrie Central. But those are some of my favorite moments from playing rugby. It is the best sport I've ever played, my favorite sport I've ever played. I still love watching. I'll watch the Super League, the NRL. I watch the AFL, which is a little different. It's Australian Football League, and the difference really between the AFL and traditional rugby is your shape of field. Your traditional rugby field's more a traditional like football field shape, more the rectangle, the like 70 meters wide by 100 and whatever meters long it is. I can't remember, 110 I want to say, but I really can't remember. Whereas Australian football leagues, it's kind of like using a rugby ball. It's kind of a combination. It's hard to really explain to somebody who doesn't know all the rules. I still don't, honestly. I don't know all of the rules. I just love fucking watching it. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to stream it. They're 14 hours ahead of us. So once all the East Coast, once all the North American sports are over, once all the European sports are over, come midnight, 2 in the morning, I'm usually turning on a little AFL or something like that. Something in Australia or New Zealand, or a little NRL or Australian Rugby League, or whichever of the things is going on. But rugby, what a sport. What a great fucking sport. Toronto Wolfpack, I hope you get back into that top league soon. I understand COVID kind of makes shit hard. You couldn't carry on right now. But that's all good, man. Still keep the faith, keep believing. Peace.
It's Daigs way.